Here's Bernie Sanders' date of birth. No time of birth has been confirmed. There is a Scorpio rising time floating around, but since it has not been verified, I'm not using it. I would say with the day positions, there is definite cause for optimism because we see these planets transiting in Capricorn are very supportive of his Virgo planets, and as well as his late Saturn in Taurus over here. And especially Jupiter, the great benefactor, is currently directly trining his Sun. And by currently, I mean today is the first day of the election. The Iowa caucuses are taking place. But this will extend further into New Hampshire and beyond because for New Hampshire, Jupiter will still be in its tight trine, and then it'll move later into the degrees of Capricorn, and from there, all of the planets trine Neptune. All of that is very good and a tremendous source of optimism. However, at the same time, these planets will also trigger major squares to Mars, Venus, and probably the Moon, unless he's born really, really early on September 8th, 1941. To the extent that he's born especially from noon onward, then this square situation is much enhanced and made even more difficult. And so my sense is, when I consider these factors together, my guess is that he is likely to do very well, but probably not well enough to win. So perhaps a strong second or third of some kind is the likely outcome. It's interesting to note that Neptune has been opposite his Sun the last couple of years, and it's now beginning to leave the opposition by exact degree. But given that in 2020 it still roams around the 18th degree, my sense is that it's still a little too close in terms of the negativity that it can correlate with. Neptune is very important in electional cycles because it correlates strongly with popularity, and you don't want it in an opposition or a square. It is far, far better in a trine, sextile, or conjunction. The other interesting thing to note is the planetoid Eris, which at birth in his chart, you notice is opposite Mercury, foretelling, so to speak, battles with strong females, which is exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton. You see this Eris moves really, really slow, really, really slowly. So even back in 2016, it was in these degrees at the time, opposing Venus, conjoining Mars, and it's still there. So that particular type of conflict continues in 2020, which is one reason why he got into it with Elizabeth Warren. And I would say overall, this is also not a positive place for this planet to be in at this point in his life with what he is trying to achieve.